Hello there, Mr. Del Pazzo here with another drawing for you. Today we're going to draw from the movie Finding Nemo, our friend Dory. You can see her right there. I think she's baby Dory. I think there's baby versions of Dory. I think this is baby Dory. I don't know if there's a baby Finding Nemo movie. I don't know. But we're going to draw a little baby Dory with the big giant eyes. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. For us, it's going to be just keep drawing, just keep drawing. Paper, pencil, eraser. Let's go. I'll put my drawing over here because we already have a Dory over there. I kind of practiced because I never drew Dory before. So I just kind of did a practice one. So I think that one came out pretty good. But I'm going to try to draw her a little bit bigger for you here. I hope you like drawing circles and curves, because we're going to be doing a lot of that. So draw lightly. Don't hold your pencil tight. Don't press down hard. Hold it lightly and draw lightly. Hold it lightly and draw lightly. And we can fix whatever we need to fix. I would say turn your paper vertical, up and down vertical, because Dory's a little bit taller and she is wide. She probably is about the same size each way, but just in case she isn't, let's go vertical. Now, I'm not going to put Dory's, I'm going to call it a nose. I know it's not a nose. I'm going to put the middle of her face, not right in the middle of my paper, but maybe a little bit over to the right side of my paper, because she does have a tail sticking out on this side. So I'm not going to put it right in the middle, which would be here. I'm going to sneak it over just a teeny bit. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a curved line. Well, it's sort of curved a little bit. They are kind of about the same. We're going to try to draw them the same. Now they're the same. You can see how they start out close together and they curve out. It's almost like we're making a tree, but we're not. And you can see it's about in the middle this way, top to bottom. I got a little room here. I got a little room here. But this way, it's a little bit over to the right side. Not much, just a little bit. Just a little. So it starts out close here. You can even have yours a little bit closer. In the picture, the lines are probably a little bit closer than mine. So you can put them a little closer if you want. But at the bottom, they should get a little bit bigger. So now, here comes our circles. They're not perfect circles, but they're round. You can see they're around the eyes. You can see where it's lots of circles. And circles are sometimes tricky to draw. So draw lightly. I'm going to start right up here at the top, and I'm going to finish right down there at the bottom. And I'm going to go up and around. You can see where I started a teeny bit below my line there, and I finished a teeny bit above my line there. But pretty much, I'm going right to the side of my tree. It's not exactly a perfect circle, but it's almost a circle. Now here's the tough part. I'm going to try to make one on the other side, the same size. That's called symmetrical, same size. When two things are the same, like my hands are the same, they're symmetrical. My face is symmetrical. An eye over here, an eye over here. Ear over there. Ear over there. I'm symmetrical. I'm the same on both sides. I'm going to try to make Dory the same on both sides for her eyes, if we can. So I'm going to try to make another sort of oval circle on this side. It's so much easier if I look in the iPad because my board is very big and I can't get far away from my board, so I have to look in there. That looks pretty close to me. I think so. I think we're good. See, Mr. Puzzle, your eyes are gigantic. But it's baby Dory. She's got big eyes. See in the picture? She's got big eyes. So I'm making big eyes too. Now, I'm going to draw what's called the iris. That's the colorful part of our eye. Mine are green. Right? So we have the white part of our eye, which we just made. Now we're going to do the iris, where the color part is. And that's going to start right here on my tree, right there and there. Okay? And then they're going to finish right about there and there. Sometimes it helps to draw where you're going to start and where you're going to finish. That just makes one thing already decided, and then you don't have to worry about it. I know I'm going to start there and finish there. So I'm going to go around pretty much the same shape as my first two big circles. So you can see they're big, but not quite as big. And I'll do one over here. So they're still pretty much the same shape, but they're just a little smaller. But notice everything I've drawn so far touches my first two curved lines. See that? Now we're going to draw the pupil. That's the black dot inside your eye. We're going to try to make a round circle. We're going to make the whole thing. We're not just going to, it's not going to touch our tree. I keep calling it a tree. It's not a tree. I'm not going to touch my two lines. I'm going to try to make them right there. Okay? See how that kind of floats right there in the middle? It's probably a little closer to my tree than it is out here. Now I'm going to try to make one on the other side. Now you'll notice, Mr. Opazzo, wait a minute, on your practice drawing, your big black pupils touch the tree. That is true, they do. So if you like the way that looks better than the way this looks, then you can do it that way if you want, right there. Now we're going to draw something called a reflection. See that? Sometimes in eyes in cartoons, they make a little white spot. That's kind of the light shining down. And because the eyes are shiny, the light bounces off of them and makes a reflection. So I am going to draw two small circles, one right about there, and then one right about there. Now, when I color in my pupils, I'm going to color in my pupils right now. You are not going to color in your pupils because you should be using a pencil right now. We're not going to color them in with silver pencil. We're going to use black. I have a black marker. You don't. So I get to do it, and you don't. You just have to watch. So I'm going to color in this circle, but not the little guy. Now, I'm not going to color the whole thing in because that would take way too long. But just so you can see what yours is going to look like. Ooh, this is a big pupil. That's big enough. That way you can see what it looks like. So once I am done, you can decide whether you want to keep your pupils floating in the middle, like the one I'm doing right now, or if you like my practice one better, where the pupils are touching the two lines of your tree. Mr. Opazzo, it's not a tree. Yeah. Maybe I'll just put my pupil closer to my tree. Maybe that'll help. I don't know. I'm not sure yet. We better keep going and see. The next thing I'm going to do, see that little tree right there? I'm going to stretch that tree out a little bit longer, just like that. See that? So we kind of have like a little curve under his eye. He didn't get enough sleep, so he's got little bags under his eyes. Now I'm going to come up here and work a little bit at the top. And what I'm going to do is right where this tree is, watch this. I'm going to continue my tree up, around, and then touch the white line. See that? Up, around, and I'm going to touch the white. Just like we did down here, I'm going to add a little bit of detail up there at the top. Now I'm going to give him, fish don't have eyebrows, but in cartoon land sometimes they do. So I'm going to draw kind of a nice big eyebrow. And I'm going to start right about here. And I'm going to go up, around, and finish right about there. Kind of on the outside of my eye. See that? So watch this. I'm going to go up and around and down. Kind of like a big bump. Up and around and down. They don't touch anything in the middle, but they do touch the eye, the white part of the eye, on the outside. See that? Still doesn't look like a fish, but we're getting there. I'm going to do another bump. I'm going to start up here. This is a smaller bump. A smaller bump. They also don't touch anything. They're kind of like the two I just made, except they're a little bit smaller. I think this one I made a little bit too high. Let's make that a little lower. There we go. Okay? And then Dory just has kind of like a little bump on the top of her head. And there's a little bump there and a little bump there. Just kind of like, I guess that's kind of like, she has like a couple little blue stripes on top of her head. It's still kind of just two floating eyes. So we need to make this part right here. We need to make the bottom of her fish body. Now, I'm going to use just about all of my paper down there. I'm going to go almost to the bottom. I don't know how long your paper is, so you might not have to. But if you look at Dory's entire shape, she's kind of like a big oval. So that's kind of the shape that you're going to be making. We do already have part of our oval up here. So what I'm going to do, just like this line stopped here, you'll notice that the eye is out further than this line. We want the eye to be really big here. So see where that line is right there? If I was to come down here, my line would continue right about there. So this line goes to here. So I'm going to follow with my finger, not my pencil, my finger through my eye and right down. And that's about where it would come out right there. So you'll notice that the eye sticks out further than everything else. There and there. That's what we want. Her eyes are the biggest part of her. She's baby Dory. Babies have big eyes. So now I am going to finish my oval going all the way down, almost to the bottom of my paper. You might not have to go to the bottom of your paper. I do. I'm going to go down, curve around. It's an oval. It's not pointy. And I'm going to go all the way up to here, or I'll go down. Look at my iPad. I think mine's a little too pointy. See how the bottom of mine is pointy? I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to erase the bottom part of mine, and I'm going to try to make it a little rounder. Let's see if that's better. I think that works a little bit better. I do. I think that works a little bit better. So sometimes we draw something and we look, that's why I told you to draw lightly. I don't have to draw lightly because I could just erase with my finger. You can't do that. So you can see that she's just a big, giant oval, her shape, pretty much. So now she has a cute little smile. You can see her mouth right there. So we're going to go under the eyes, and we're going to make a mouth. So I started up here, and then it just went down a little bit, and then over, and then back up a little bit. So it's not really that wiggly or curvy. So now I'm going to do, her mouth is open. So I am going to go down and then up. You'll notice that the line sticks out a little bit, and the mouth here does not go all the way to the end of my mouth. I have two little lines on the sides. Helps give her more of a, like a little smile. Now, once again, you will not be coloring this in. I'm going to color mine in, just so you can see what yours is going to look like. Right, so that's what yours will look like in a little bit. And now fish have a tail and fins, so that's what we need to make. So I'm going to go down, kind of a little bit lower than my mouth, and my fin is going to go over, and I'm going to curl up. I'm going to go right to the end of my paper. If you have more paper on the side, you can make your fins a little bit bigger. I can't because I ran out of paper. So then I'm going to go down, and then right back. You'll notice it is smaller where it connects to his body, or her body, and it is wider at the outside. And Dory has stripes, so I'm going to put a little stripe right there, and I'm going to put a little stripe right there. We'll talk about the colors in a second. So now I'm going to do one of those fins on the other side. So I'm trying to make it in about the same place. Again, it is smaller where it touches her body and wider where it's out on the side. And she also has a yellow stripe right there and a dark blue stripe right there. And if you have more paper, you can make her fins a little bit bigger. But she is a baby, so her fins aren't too big yet. She didn't grow full size yet. And I don't have a lot of paper over here. I wish I had a little bit more paper on the side because I'd like to make her tail bigger, but I can't. I don't want to draw on my table. You don't want to draw on your kitchen table. You want to draw on your paper. So right above this fin right here, right there, don't touch the eye. I'm going to draw her tail. So I'm going to go up. I'm going to go as far as I can to the end of my paper. And this side here is going to curve down. So that one goes up and all the way to the side of the paper. That one curves down just a little bit. And now I'm going to connect these two lines from the top to the bottom. You can see that the tail is obviously bigger than the fins. And I wish I could even make it bigger. And then we're going to put a little stripe on her tail right from there to there. It's more yellow up here, just a little bit of skinny yellow down there. Okay, and there's Dory. There's baby Dory. Now, if you want, if you have a printer at home and you like to print out a picture of baby Dory, you can just type in Google B-A-B-Y space D-O-R-Y, baby Dory, and you could find a picture sort of like this. And it's nice to have a picture next to you when you're drawing, so you can look at Mr. Del Pazzo's drawing and your drawing. If you don't have a printer, maybe mom or dad let you borrow their phone, and you can just bring up a picture of baby Dory and sit it next to your iPad. And that way you can kind of look at the real baby Dory and also Mr. Del Pazzo's baby Dory. So that might help a little bit if you want. Now, when you color baby Dory in, you can see that her body is blue, kind of like a light blue. The top up here, now see that little bump right there where my finger is? That's going to be blue too. That little skinny bump, That's white. That is going to be your purple color. So you can see here, you can pause it when you're coloring, when Mr. Apostle holding the picture. You can just color it while I'm holding it. So inside the mouth and the big giant pupils are black. You're going to leave that little white spot white. That's the reflection. Her eyes are they're kind of like a purplish color, a magenta or a purple. Inside the mouth is black. And then the tail is yellow. The fin and the tail are yellow on the outside, right? And then the tail is dark blue right there. The fins have a dark blue strip, and then it's light blue right next to her body. See that? Just keep swimming, just keep swimming. And there's baby Dory. When you're done, make sure you put him into Seesaw. I can't wait to see her. Now, you can also do a background. I don't have a lot of room for a background, but if you want to draw any of her friends, Nemo or anybody else, or maybe you just want to draw, you could draw some bubbles, the top of the ocean. You could draw the sea bottom. You could draw some little seaweed. Right, little friends swimming. Whatever you want to do. There's lots of things in the ocean. You draw whatever you want. So when you're done, make sure you put them in Seesaw. I can't wait to see them. I will see you guys later. Bye. Just keep swimming.